Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Yeah, you know what it is. Hard worker, scrappy, unfiltered, and sometimes unhinged football content. Hard to explain, but you know it when you see it. Doing it daily our way. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Redraft and Dynasty Fantasy Football, we got you covered. You know their defense is ranked like 31st in the NFL? NFL draft prospects and rookies? Now you know you in the right place for that.
Absolutely.
All right, then stop saying it. Then we're done. And prop bets with my man Jay Rich. Count that money, man. Now wipe the crust out of your eyes. Get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake your ass up with Raygque. You honestly are making absolutely no sense, and you sound silly as hell. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. It is Monday, April the 4th, 2022. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with Raygque, even though I messed up the good mornings. So excited. We have a Grammy. This show, the intro that gives me hype. We be back here bouncing to the music. Won a Grammy last night. So shout out to K-Dot. Shout out to Baby Kim. I don't, Jay, I don't know what category it was for, but they'll probably make us take it down off the intro now that it won a Grammy. How are you, my friend, this morning?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited. Like you said, Grammy-nominated intro at the Wake Up with Raygque show.
Man. We did
it's
it.
We did it,
baby. We did it.
I don't know how we got here, but we made
baby.
it happen. And I don't know if you saw the breaking news over the course of the weekend, but did you see that Super Hot is back?
I did not.
You did not. I'm telling you,
it.
everyone who knows, if you know, you know, right? If you know, Super Hot. Go to my Twitter and go look at the first tweet I tweeted out this morning. It was like 2 a.m. I'm on Instagram. I'm scrolling the feed. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is that glasses, jacket, shirt, man? Chilling on my IG right now? Oh, my God. I was hyped. But happy to be here. Good Monday. Yeah. I was up late, but I'm here, baby. I'm here. Excited.
All right, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see everybody in the chat this morning. Chris, Jay, our girl Joe, always in the building. Aaron, Dalton, Rowe. Jeff, Johnny, Mike A, always in the building, man. It's gonna be a good day. Gonna be a good day. Ty, what's going on? Good morning to you, good sir. EV, Eric, my dog, what's happening? Yeah, man. Not a lot of news. We're like in this dead period where not a lot of shit is gonna be happening. Trade speculations. You know, Brandon Cooks. Multiple teams calling in on Brandon Cooks. Multiple teams calling in on Chiefs looking to still find wide receiver help. I would love to see. I mean, Brandon Cooks. Think about all the quarterbacks that he's played with through his career. You know, Drew Brees. Didn't he get some of Tom Brady? Wasn't he with Tom Brady for a little bit in New England? It would only be fitting for him to just matriculate on to the next Hall of Fame quarterback. Patrick Mahomes should be next on the book. So hopefully, Jay, real quick, would you rather Brandon Cooks? If you're the Chiefs, would you rather Brandon Cooks or Jameson Williams? Let's just go with the player that everybody seems to have penciled into Kansas City. But if you're that organization, would you rather take 27, 28-year-old Brandon Cooks, perennial 1,000-yard wide receiver, veteran in the game, knows what the hell he's doing, or would you rather have Jameson Williams? Just quick question.
I think it's a really easy one. I think for me, it's Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is going to be ready week one. He's going to be a NFL-ready wide receiver. As much as I love Jameson Williams, we just can't say that from him from a health standpoint and from understanding the offense. And so for that, on top of that, you talk about Brandon Cooks, a player who's played in 3 different offenses and excelled every year, even when he switched teams. So for me, it's pretty easy. It's Brandon Cooks. And the other piece of news, right? They mentioned in the chat already, Devontae Parker getting traded to New England. Yep. So your Mac Jones shares are getting just a little bump up because your boy Bill is bolstering that offense, if you could even call it that. I tried to warn you when you were saying, "Oh, Bill's gonna get it, make it right. He's gonna make it better." We'll see. You know, Devontae Parker, could he be an 1,000-yard receiver in that offense? Sure, because there's no one else there. Outside of that, though, I don't really know what to expect from him and how it really affects Mac Jones overall. Marginally at best, I think. Marginally at best. Yeah,
good reminder. He did have prime Jared Goff. I mean, when Jared Goff was legit, Brandon Cooks played with him as well. 1,000-yard walking 1,000-piece with Brandon Cooks at wide receiver. Fantastic wide receiver, and I think that would be – I mean, you put him with Juju, with Travis Kelce – they still miss Tyreek Hill, but you've got a very good wide receiver to complement to go in and play. I don't know if it's the Tyreek role, but I think he'd be very good in that
Ray,
offense,
what I'll
man. I
say
think it,
though is I think he could play Tyreek's role this year, right? Like he can't be the Tyreek of old, but he could be the Tyreek of 2021, 2022, right? So I think that's where I see the parallels. People are like, maybe Juju could do that. I'm like, I don't think Juju could do that. But I think Cooks could because Cooks running those shorter routes, using his speed to get in and out of breaks quickly. I think that's what Tyreek excelled at this season. And Brandon Cooks guys is kind of the same thing.
Joe asked the question, my 203 in a 1 QB league for Cooks. I would do that. I mean, in single quarterback leagues, yeah, when
I guess
Jahan
so.
Dotson, no, there's no I think so, 100%. When Jahan Dotson is coming off the board like at 1.9 and at 203, you're talking about maybe Rashad White, Zamir White, like those type of players, 100% in a single quarterback league. I'd be making that move for Brandon Cooks, no doubt. Let's see. Okay, so I talked about the calm before the storm. NFL draft month. We are here. We've got about 3.5 weeks into the NFL draft that kicks off. I believe April the 28th is the first round of the NFL draft. So from this point forward, you're not going to see a ton of activity through the NFL landscape. And everybody's still continuing to talk about the 2022 class. This week, we are going to take an early look at the 2023 quarterbacks, right, Jay? We're going to take a look at the QB class on Wednesday for 2023. Is that where we're going? Yep. Jay says yes. Start to take a look at who's coming out. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, the usual suspects. But after that, how strong is this class looking at the quarterback position? If you decide to wait on QB this year, you're not sold on Malik Willis, you're not sold on Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral and company, and you're like, I'm a gamble and risk it in 2023. Well, take a look at what that is looking like today, right? Things will change. The college season is a long way away, and it's a long college football season, so things will be subject to change. But just to start to get an idea, put names with picks, put names with slots, where's the strength of this class? I'll tell you right now, it's 100% at the running back position. That's where the strength of the 2023 class is. But we're going to start to dive into those guys, think about what they're going to do this upcoming college football season and how that will impact our rookie picks and rookie drafts moving forward. Everything that we do here, we try to keep you one step ahead of your league mates. The more you know about future classes, the better you can position your dynasty team for short and long-term success. So we'll be taking a look at that on Wednesday. And then Friday, we're going to take a look at a mock draft today.
Thursday.
Thursday, excuse me. Our Friday. You don't have to correct me. I know they know what I'm getting at. They know we don't do the show on Friday. Our Friday, which is your Thursday, we will be taking a look at a Superflex rookie mock based on the mock draft that we're going to take a look at today, provided by Pro Football Network. They have a 4-round NFL mock draft that varies greatly from the one that we saw last week. And at this point in time, all I'm trying to do now for rookie drafts and thinking about fantasy football purposes is preparation, preparing myself for chalk, preparing myself for chaos, preparing myself for a dud of a draft. And the more exercises you do where you look at where these teams potentially are slotting these players in, the better you can start to position your game plan around what you're going to do in the rookie draft. So today, again, 4-round NFL mock by Pro Football Network, and this was by, let's give the individual credit, Oliver Hodgkinson. Oliver Hodgkinson dropped this on April the 2nd. He's got a couple of trades in this mock. So we are going to run through the fantasy relevant players in this draft, and that starts off at pick 5. So let's get Jay back on the screen. Y'all, comments, all that other shit that you got going on, drop it in there, and we will get to it as we go. But let's get this bad boy started. So let's slide us over here. All right, and that went wrong immediately. As soon as that went bad real quick, Jay. That went bad real quick. I don't know if YouTube said, no, don't do that. Don't show my Pro Football Network mock. You think that's what it was? As soon as I showed the screen. All right, let's try to do it again. Let's see what happens. Let's try to do it again. Let's try. I don't want to get kicked off the stream by showing internet mocks. Okay, I guess we're good.
We're here.
We're back. We're back. Yeah. So let's talk about it. I don't know what Joe said. Thought she was peeing. Oh my God. Good old Ollie. All right. So at 5. So in this mock, the Pittsburgh Steelers sent their 20th pick and the 52nd pick, plus a first and second rounder in 2023 to the Giants for the 5th overall selection. So when you're talking about draft capital given up, this seems like a realistic amount of capital that one would have to get up to move from 20. Hold on. Carlo, you got me messed up, big dog. This is AT&T fiber optic. This is as high as it gets. Jay, we have done download tests. You know this ain't no cheap internet over here. We don't do
True.
that. It is not cheap internet. But Malik Willis at 5 to Pittsburgh, followed up by Carolina Panthers selecting Kenny Pickett. Man, if I had to guess right now, Jay, for like chalk that's gonna happen, it's Kenny Pickett to Carolina. It seems like there's so much smoke around that.
Yeah.
The connection with Matt Rule, we see the picture floating around with those two on his recruiting trip at Temple. And I think the odds makers, Vegas lines have Kenny Pickett favored to be the first quarterback off of the board. So I do believe
Really,
Carolina,
they do?
Yeah, they do. He's got the best odds to be QB1 off the board. I think it's plus 200 was the last I saw. Was Kenny Pickett to come off the board first at quarterback. So the Steelers trade up, get their guy. Carolina Panthers seem to get their guy. Now I heard that the owner, David Tepper, is also a Pitt alum.
Yeah,
so,
that's the other big connection, right?
Yeah, another connection. Another connection. Aaron, I see the super chat. We'll get to it at the end of the show. Appreciate you, homie, no doubt. All right, let's keep moving. The Giants get a tackle, and Charles Cross, Falcons, yada, yada, yada. Boom, Jets, here we go. The Jets get a wide receiver, and they select Garrett Wilson, first wide receiver off of the board. Garrett Wilson to the Jets. It seems a foregone conclusion that they want a wide receiver. Is it going to be Olave? Is it going to be Wilson? Is it going to be Drake London? Garrett Wilson to the Jets does what for Elijah Moore, in your opinion, Jay?
Nothing for me. We talked about this numerous times. It's just, this is what's bound to happen, is that Elijah Moore may not be the one, but he can be a very productive two. I think Garrett Wilson allows him to do that, to work inside, work outside. I think they can be used interchangeably and in a way that's really scheme independent. So for me, I think it's fine. People will obviously over exaggerate, and I would be the one who would be going to trade for Elijah Moore in that instance. But for me, nothing changes at all. Still feel great about where Elijah Moore is at, and especially with him paired with Garrett Wilson in New York.
All right, nice. All right, we got a couple of defensive players off the board. The Houston Texans said no. They're not going to go with the wide receiver, so they pass on a wide receiver, and they go with the D-tackle, the defensive end, the edge out of Purdue, Jordan Davis to Baltimore. Philly, they go back to the Alabama wide receiver pool, and they take Jameson Williams, out of Alabama. J-Mo to Philly does what for Jalen Hurts, in your opinion?
It helps him, I guess. Like, it gives him another weapon, but I think the problem is that Jalen Hurts hasn't shown that he can do enough with the talent he's been given, right? We understand that Philly has a plethora of wide receivers. You know, they've been kind of busts for the past few years, but they got Devontae Smith, and he was underutilized, and so they get Jameson Williams, and then he's going to be underutilized. So I don't really see how this makes sense for fantasy, but it should definitely elevate the offense overall. If Jalen Hurts can't get it done with Devontae Smith and Jameson Williams on his team, then clearly they need to make a change at quarterback. They still have Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders out of the backfield, depending on how you feel about that. But J-Mo is a great wide receiver. It just depends on, can Jalen Hurts deliver him the ball accurately and on time, which has been what he's struggled with so far in the NFL.
Yeah, and no concern for you about J-Mo and his ACL tear either? I mean, he'll be healthy at some point, right? No. At some point, he's going to be healthy.
Mid-season, he'll be back. We'll see him this season. It's just, for me, it comes down to, is can Jalen Hurts get him the ball? Not the best landing spot for us in fantasy, but we'll take it, right? We'll see what we can do with it. And, you know, I think it'd be a value, right? We always you talk about a lot how you're tired of drafting receivers based off where they're at presently. And J-Mo could be a guy you get at a great value because they replace the quarterback position next year with more draft picks. But we'll see what they end up doing this year and what direction they decide to go.
All right, let's look at the second half of this mock. Oh, boy. Here we go. Now we have something to talk about. Boom goes the dynamite. The Kansas City Chiefs select Drake London, wide receiver out of USC. And in this trade, the Kansas City Chiefs traded their 29th pick, the 50th pick, and their 121 pick to acquire 19 from Philly. Definitely something I can see them doing. If they get to the draft, Garrett Wilson is gone, Jameson Williams off of the board. They might start getting panicked. A little bit of Spook City, right? Spook City, they ship off one of those first. So, you know, Philly drops back 10 spots, picks up an additional second and I think the 121 is at a fourth round pick in the NFL draft. And Kansas City goes up to get their wide receiver, right? So then you throw Drake London in an offense with Juju Smith-Schuster, with Travis Kelce, with MVS playing the flanker. I think immediately Drake London would slot into the X role, Juju playing the slot, Travis Kelce, the move tight end, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling playing the Z role, the field stretching flanker. This is not a Tyreek Hill replacement. Two completely different type of wide receivers. They aren't, like this article says, they're not remotely similar players, but Drake London provides a type of receiver that Mahomes has not had in his career. A big-bodied outside wide receiver where Mahomes could put those in, and Drake London wins in contested-catch situations. He wins down the field. This would be, if this were to happen, how high would Drake London go in rookie drafts? Let's just talk Superflex real quick. How high would he go if Kansas City used their first-round pick? Not only did they use a first-round pick, they traded up to get him. How high would he go in rookie drafts? We're saying Breece Hall at 1, Malik Willis at 2, or Malik Willis at 1, Breece Hall at 2, maybe a Pickett, maybe Kenneth Walker. Would you take Drake London ahead of any of those guys that I just mentioned?
No, but I think he's cemented in the top 5 at that point, right? Like, I don't think he necessarily goes ahead of the running backs and maybe even the quarterbacks. I think Malik in Pittsburgh is where could get him drafted, 102, 103. But London pretty easily would be the first wide receiver off the board. I wouldn't see a scenario where he wouldn't be wide receiver 1. And I think that's justified. We've been waiting for this big, tall possession receiver to go to Kansas City, and Drake London is exactly that. And so, like you're saying, it's a match we've been waiting for a while, and I think this is a great fit for London, and he complements all those guys in the offense presently really, really well.
And I love this by Oliver. He said, why trade up for London? There are at least 3 teams that would have taken him before the Chiefs were on the clock. See, that's the issue with 29, man. And I think if Kansas City wants a receiver, they're either A, going to have to trade for a Brandon Cooks during the NFL draft or right before, or move up. Because at 29, there's a good shot that London's off the board, Chris Olave's off the board, so they're staring down the barrel of a Christian Watson or a Jahan Dotson. And for that team, what they want to do, I don't think that's who they necessarily want to grab at 29. So them trading that 29th pick, trading the 50th and the 121, it makes a lot of sense for Kansas City, and it also helps out Philadelphia. That would be a nice haul for Philadelphia in return for this move up. In my opinion, I think Drake London would probably be coming off the board. In most Dynasty Superflex leagues, he'd be coming off the board at 103. I think it'd be Hall Willis, based on this mock, Hall Willis, and then Drake London would be right there. Most fantasy gamers would probably make that move. All right, Giants, Nakobe Dean. We see the Patriots opt for a cornerback, and then the Green Bay Packers. If I were to pair any wide receiver in Green Bay to have immediate levels of success right away, it would probably be Chris Olave. I think he just fits Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. He's a technician. He can win deep. We haven't really seen him be a yak guy. I think he's one of the worst receivers in yards after the catch in this NFL draft class, but at least with the top wide receivers, right? But the thing that you do get with Chris Olave is he's going to be where he's supposed to be when he needs to be there. He can make plays down the field. Sure-handed guy. I think this would be a fantastic weapon for Aaron Rodgers to kind of build around. I still don't think he would walk into the season as the number 1 trusted go-to target, but he's starting from day one, right? He's playing him and Lazard, if they don't bring somebody else in, are rolling out there as your top wide receivers, and I think it would be a matter of time before Aaron Rodgers started to trust this young man. I think this would solidify Chris Olave, in my opinion, to Green Bay. He'd probably be a top 8 pick, even in Superflex drafts, man. I think people would see this landing spot. I think people would see this landing spot. Green Bay using their first-round pick on a wide receiver. They haven't done this in years. And then there's nobody else there, man. It's Randall Cobb, it's Allen Lazard, and a bunch of nobodies. I think this is, of all the landing spots for a wide receiver outside of like Kansas City, I think this is one. The fit with Chris Olave with Aaron Rodgers, I think, is fantastic, man. And I'm just keeping it real. I'm not the biggest Chris Olave fan. He's a fine wide receiver. I think he'll be a good receiver in the league. I think being paired with Aaron Rodgers gives him a chance to be a lot better than I'm even projecting him for. I love this spot for Chris Olave. We scroll down a little bit more. Dallas doesn't take a wide receiver because we can't afford to right now. We got to go pass rusher. And the Tennessee Titans take Treylon Burks. Again, when I think of Treylon Burks and Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown, I think of Space Jam 1 and the Monstars. Just big-ass yak after the catch, after the handoff. This would be insane. This would be banana land. You get Treylon and A.J. Brown paired with Derrick Henry. Good luck, man. Just yak monsters, run after the catch, just run after the handoff. This would be fun. I love I love this. I love this. He still wouldn't be wide receiver 1 off the board. But man, Treylon in Tennessee with A.J. Brown would be fun. Jay Rich, I love this, man. And the variance of these landing spots would make rookie drafts so fun. Do you take Olave in Green Bay? Do you take the wide receiver who came off the board at 10 to the Jets, who Garrett Wilson, in my opinion, would probably be the one in that offense? Do you take the Kansas City Chiefs top wide out, or do you take a guy that's paired with A.J. Brown and just yak monsters with A.J. Brown and Treylon Burks? Would be a lot of fun in Tennessee. We scroll down a little bit more, and we finish out with Detroit taking Jahan Dotson at the back of the first at pick 32. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I don't love it for Dotson. I'm fine.
It's not really
with
what they need, right? He's not really the player they need. I think that in a lot of ways,
like
Amon-Ra St.
Amon-Ra,
Brown and
right?
him do the same thing, right?
Yeah,
They're kind of undersized.
Yeah.
He just plays a little bit bigger. And so with that being said, is he going to play outside? Is he going to play the slot? Like, I guess he kind of has to play outside, and he's not really ready for that yet. And, he's going to have a slight adjustment to the NFL. But I think, in Detroit, we'll see what they do with the quarterback position. But for me, I just don't love the spot. I think in reality, Shark would probably still command that outside X receiver role because he's bigger, he's faster, he's stronger, can stretch the field. Dotson, on the other hand, probably slides into some kind of complementary role, maybe in the Z. But I don't love the fit overall for Dotson personally. But I think, if you're getting him in the second round, there's still going to be opportunity in Detroit. And when they get the quarterback, we'll see how that offense ultimately unfolds.
Yeah, I'm seeing some comments right now. Number 2 wide receiver on Green Bay would be great for Olave. I'm with you right there. For sure, Ray, that would be a home run for Olave in fantasy football. Are we consensus London over Burks without consideration on landing spot right now? Listen, I don't have rankings yet. I continue to say this. There are no Raygque ranks out right now. I've done my film grades. Once I get draft capital, I'll plug that into the model, and then it'll give me a composite score, and then I'll tier those guys after that. But right now, Drake London did grade out ahead of Treylon Burks on film. Olave seems tiny. I thought he's kind of little too, but there's Devonta Smith put out a training video yesterday. He looks a lot thicker, Jay. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. Smitty looks like he's been in the weight room.
Did he crack 165?
He might be 177 right now, man. He looks good. He looks good, man. I think it's going to be a nice season for the Slim Reaper. No real consensus at wide receiver, and I think that's what's going to make rookie drafts so intriguing is I don't think there's consensus anywhere. I think you got people who hate the quarterbacks and to take running backs and wide receivers ahead of all these guys. I got Kenny Pickett in a rookie mock, not rookie mock, in an actual rookie draft. I think I got him at 109, super flex in one of our patron leagues over the past weekend. So I don't think there's any consensus on any of these positions at all. But no, man, are we buying Devonta? Yes, absolutely.
Oh, you have to be.
Yeah,
it's literally, it all comes
100%.
Down to Jalen Hurts. It's nothing to do with Devonta Smith's talent. It's all to do with Jalen Hurts.
The fact that he did what he did last year.
What the hell Nick Sirianni's doing.
Yeah, the fact that he did what he did last year with Hurts playing the way that he did was go look up that video. I think it was on his Instagram, man, that he put it out. But that neck is starting to get thicker. You know what we think? What we say about thick necks? We like that. All right, round 2. Let's go round 2. And what do we have? There we go. So same landing spot as our man Chad Reuter, but just, not same landing spot, but Atlanta gets a quarterback, but instead of trading up to number 3, as in Chad Reuter's mock, they get Desmond Ridder here at 39, quarterback out of Cincinnati, and then followed up right by the Seattle Seahawks taking Matt Corral at pick 40, the quarterback out of Ole Miss, currently my QB1 still. but it's looking like he's going to come off the board a little bit later than QB1. So Atlanta did have to trade up in this mock to get Desmond Ridder. They sent away their 43rd pick, their 74th pick to Chicago. So the Bears moved down a little bit in order to acquire, for Atlanta to acquire Desmond Ridder. And then we also see with that pick that Atlanta traded up, that traded to Chicago, the Bears take George Pickens. The Bears take George Pickens at 43. So we got Ridder, Corral, and Pickens off of the board. What do you think about that pair right there, Jay?
I don't mind Pickens. I think the fit in Chicago is like we talked about before, whether it's David Bell, whether it's George Pickens, that bigger body wide receiver that can play outside. I think Pickens fits that mold much better than David Bell does. But again, you got to pay a little bit higher price to get George Pickens. But I'm really curious to your thoughts, if you want to just touch on it really quickly, about Desmond Ridder in Atlanta versus Matt Corral in Seattle. Which dumpster fire of a franchise do you trust more to build around that quarterback? And do you think DK Metcalf would stay? Because I think that's ultimately the tiebreaker here. Is does DK Metcalf stay in Seattle, or do they trade him prior to that extension? Because if we assume that DK is gone, maybe they get a wide receiver to replace him with those draft picks. But then you're looking at basically two empty offenses with literally almost no talent around them on both sides.
Well, I'll start with this. I think Matt Corral is a much better quarterback. I just think he's a better quarterback than Desmond Ridder in every sense of the way. Like passing, accuracy, the way that they run the ball. I just think he's the better prospect. I think he's the better quarterback. And while I like Kyle Pitts, I still would take Corral. I would take Corral. I don't care what else is going on. You're asking me which player would I trust on my roster to be something more than what he is, and it's Matt Corral over Desmond Ridder, and they were selected one spot apart in this mock. It wouldn't be a question for me. I think that's a great landing spot for Desmond Ridder. I think Atlanta is a very good landing spot, and he's got a quarterback to learn behind in Marcus Mariota, who's a veteran. They play similar styles of ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't trust either organization, but I like Matt Corral more than I do Desmond Ridder considerably. All right. And then we talked about George Pickens off the board. What a compliment to Darnell Mooney, and what a big weapon for Justin Fields to grow around. I like that a lot. We got Christian Watson coming off the board. All right, barely gets inside of my top 64, so the bet is still intact. Player 49 off the board, the Saints. I think this is a good fit. Like, this is a really good mock. Good fit for Christian Watson. Opposite Michael Thomas, stretch the field, let MT do his thing, and let Christian Watson get down the field and catch some of those YOLO Winston balls. Actually, a sneaky good spot for any wide receiver to land in New Orleans this year. Very, very sneaky good spot. We go down a little bit, and boom, we get a running back. Here we go. Towards the back of the second, too, man. This is where the NFL is valuing these running backs, right? What's so funny, Jay, is we've reached the point in rookie draft season where all kinds of negative Breece Hall posts are coming out now. People saying he's not as good as we think, shouldn't be valued this high, pump the brakes on Breece Hall. Breece Hall is just a product of a bad running back class, yada, yada, yada. Breece Hall goes to Buffalo. I mean, just beautiful,
all
right?
Bets are off.
I made the pasta by myself, a homemade pasta. Breece Hall to Buffalo would just be. Now he still got to deal with Josh Allen sneaking touchdowns at the goal line, because the Stallion is running that bitch in every time he's inside the 2-yard line. It is Josh Allen full steam ahead. But man, RIP Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, you never stood a chance. Breece Hall in Buffalo would be a smash. And coming off the board at 57, that's a realistic that's realistic realm for a running back. I love it, man. Antoine, man, we need an
Antoine Pierce shirt.
I promise the show. Unlike you, I hold true with my bets and promises. I am buying. I don't care where he goes. I don't care what team he goes to. I'm buying an Alec Pierce jersey. I'm telling you right now, I'm buying the jersey and I'm rocking that shit a week straight. He just continues to climb up draft boards. He just continues to climb up draft boards.
You didn't even mention that not only is he's drafted in the top 60, but Atlanta is stacking the quarterback wide receiver combination.
Listen, man.
Tell me a better match made in heaven than playing with your college quarterback in hot Atlanta.
Man, no, it's not even hot Atlanta. They call Atlanta Chocolate City, and you get a white boy that can move like this, he's going to fit perfectly in the city of Hotlanta. I love it. Chocolate City, Hotlanta. The Falcons take Alec Pierce here in the second round with that athleticism. Look, at the Senior Bowl, he was only there for a day, but that first day of practice, man, he was winning off the line. He looked good. I still am not clear why he left. I don't know if it was an injury or what, but he looked damn good out there. He's built. He looks the part. And he'd fit right in Chocolate City real well with the Falcons. I love that, man. This would immediately. I'm seeing Pierce come off the board, third round in rookie drafts right now, fourth round. This immediately bumps him up. He flies up. He's a round 2 pick, man. Just keep. Nah, man. Keep him away from Lou Williams. Keep Antoine away from Lou Williams. That is. Oh yeah, I'm wrong. I am so fucking wrong. I am sorry. The cultural references are getting mixed up. That is DC. DC is Chocolate City. You are 100% right, Ro. I know, Marcus. I know. It's early. The coffee is. You see, it's all the black people telling me I'm wrong. Is my boy Marcus is okay? Stone, got it. Stone, black as well. All telling me
fake
that
news,
I am
GQ.
Wrong. Fake.
On Red
Y'all
Alert
know
this morning.
fake news. Where's the sounder? Where's my sounder at, Jay? I gotta hit the fake news sounder after. Let's just keep going. All right, y'all ready for some more heat? If this happens, some more heat. Let's scroll down just a little bit with the second to last pick in the second round, third to last pick, compensatory pick. 62. Kenneth Walker off of the board to Kansas City. I mean,
I don't know. What do we? Okay, Ray, what do we do? This is the conundrum, man. This is where we're at. People are talking about Drake London 102.
I know.
Not anymore. Don't think so.
Would Kansas City go back to the RB? I know. Go through it. Go ahead. Breece Hall. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Breece Hall in Buffalo with Josh Allen. You know, they did say Josh Allen's not gonna be running so much anymore. That contract get kicked in. So now they can't do that. Then you got Kenneth Walker taking over that. Rojo, RIP, Clyde, hit waivers, Damian Williams. See you later. Give me Kenneth Walker in Kansas City. My God. How do you decide between 101 and 102? And who do you take? Which offense do you trust more? Do you trust the best offense in Buffalo? In my opinion, probably in the AFC. Questionable. But if they get Breece Hall, add them to that offense. My God. But then you talk about Kansas City adding Kenneth Walker.
Well, here's the thing. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. I was watching that Kansas City LA Rams game, and remember I came on the show the next day and said the offense hasn't looked the same since they lost Kareem Hunt. That's not to say that they haven't been good. They've been air raid and great, but they lost the dimension of physicality of this might sound crazy, but when your greatest rushing threat is Patrick Mahomes and Jerick McKinnon and Darrell Williams, that's a problem. Kenneth Walker has a lot of Kareem Hunt in his game, man. There's a lot of Kareem Hunt in his game. I'm trying not to get sucked into the landing spot again. But he is a superior running back prospect. He is a better running back prospect than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's the fit. They need this type of running back. And listen, yes, Kenneth Walker, better running back right now, in my opinion. If I had to put the mortgage on who's a better back, Ronald Jones or Kenneth Walker, are they okay enough with Ronald Jones to tote the rock this year that they're like, we don't have to do this? I'm just giving some pushback. Just giving a little pushback, right?
I think they have to think that, right? Realistically, is that, do they need Kenneth Walker? No, but it would be really nice if they had a running game, right? Like we've seen what they've done without one. They've been trying for 3 years to have a running game. If this doesn't solidify it, there's a greater problem in Kansas City than their drafting ability, right? Like if Kenneth Walker can't work out in Kansas City, they have a larger problem than just their ability to draft good players.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt ran a slow 40. I think it was like a 4.63 is what Kareem Hunt ran. I think people forget, like, what's funny is slow, for us evaluators, right? But very much not slow for NFL purposes. A 4.6 is fine. But yeah, he ran a slow 40. Man, this would This is just interesting. I like it. I could see them doing it. In the last mock, they had James Cook going to Kansas City.
Yeah.
In the I think the same pick
Same
62, same spot for James Cook. I'd much rather Kenneth Walker to Kansas City. All right, let's go round 3 of this mock, and looky. Sam Howell falls to Detroit at pick 66. I'll just say this. Can I see a team foolishly trading up into the first for Sam Howell? Yes. This seems more likely, man. Like a second, third round pick for Sam Howell. RIP those early rookie drafters who took Sam Howell in the first round of their rookie drafts, because if he goes in round 3, I'm out. I mean, in my opinion, that solidifies Jared Goff. Like, nice. Like, he's in a good spot. Jared Goff is in a great spot.
Really? You think so?
Man, third round quarterback, man. We'll see. I know Dak.
But that's what we said about Davis Mills, right? That's where I would say to you is like my pushback would simply be is that we've been drafting these guys. To your point, we haven't been drafting them in the first round, haven't been drafting them even in the second round. These were third round picks, even in Superflex leagues. But I think there's an opportunity to get an opportunity, like you always talk about, being a high third round pick, going to a team that does need a quarterback. And for a quarterback like Sam Howell, who produced for 3 years and we believe does have talent, we have to feel like even in the third round, he has to get a shot at some point to really show what he can do. Because I get being a third round pick, but he'll get a shot eventually. And I think that's where it's worth taking a shot on him, right?
Okay. Not in the first round. I'm not.
No.
You would draft him in the first round of a rookie draft if he's a third round quarterback?
I would not. It'd be back of the second probably at best for me.
Okay, same. All right. Let's look through this one. We got some good spots. Tight end 1 off the board of the Giants, Trey McBride. Good spot for McBride. Tight end premium leagues, you should be excited about that. Day 2 draft capital for a tight end. That's solid, and he's athletic, 4.5 40-yard dash. Sky Moore to Houston. Seems like a good fit with Davis Mills. I like Sky Moore to Houston. Third round seems very realistic for Sky Moore. I don't think he's falling out of day 2, so he's got day 2 draft capital. I like it there.
Yep.
Calvin Austin, player that a lot of guys like, man. You know, when you're just looking at him as a wide receiver, what he can do off the line, in route phase, just his inventory of ways that he can win on the field, he's little. Like a bet that I don't really want to make in fantasy, and I wouldn't make that bet early. But, you know, third round, Jacksonville, Calvin Austin, seems like they need a slot receiver. Maybe it's worth a shot.
Maybe. I feel like he's just a returner, though, right? Like
he might be.
That's right. Probably be a returner
in the third round. You're talking mid-third. You're dart throwing that shit anyway, man. You know what I mean? You're dart throwing that anyway. So you know he's got the day 2 draft capital in a situation where there's no clarity at receiver whatsoever. Christian Kirk, Calvin Austin, have fun with that. Colts take your boy, John Mechie. You're a big John Mechie fan. There goes the Colts taking John Mechie here at pick 73, a top 75 pick for the Indianapolis Colts. And then let's roll down to the back half of the third round picks. We get the Vikings taking Carson Strong, the Cleveland Browns taking Jalen Tolbert, the LA Chargers taking Isaiah Likely, and the Houston Texans coming in round 3, Isaiah Spiller. So we've got 4 fantasy relevant guys off the board back to back. Carson Strong, Jalen Tolbert, Isaiah Likely, and Isaiah Spiller coming off of the board at pick 80 to the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans did sign or trade for Marlon Mack a couple of days ago. So let's talk about this, man. First of all, I just want to say I like Isaiah Likely to the Chargers. Good developmental tight end prospect. Athletic. Let him learn behind. They've just brought somebody in. Who'd they bring in? Was it Everett?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Was it Everett?
I think so.
Was it Everett?
Okay,
so you get Isaiah Likely to kind of sit and groom behind Everett and Parham if he's still there. Jalen Tolbert to Cleveland. I don't know why, but this just seems like a good fit. Like, it just seems like a good fit. Jalen Tolbert in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson seems like a good fit. Carson Strong to Minnesota. I mean, he's a statue.
He's better than Kellen Mond, that's for sure. So I think maybe it makes sense, right?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it makes sense. Isaiah Spiller to Houston in round 3, I'm still in. He's a first-round rookie pick. He's coming off the board after Kenneth Walker and after Breece Hall, no doubt. But if he goes to Houston, he's down there training anyway, so they get a good look at him. He stays home in the state of Texas. He trains in Houston, Texas with Footwork King. Shout out to Footwork King. We go exchange back and forth. But I think this solidifies him as the third running back off the board in rookie drafts. And if you can get him, I think this would drop him. He'd go behind probably a couple of the wide receivers. I think he'd be in that
I think
110
at
range.
least, yeah.
110 range, like 119, 110. I'm
Probably,
talking
yeah.
super flex. I'm just assuming super flex. Single quarterback, he's no doubt going to be a first-round pick. But this would be a great landing spot for one Isaiah Spiller in the third round. New England gets a wide receiver, Romeo Doubs, out of Nevada. I'm flaccid. It does nothing for me at all.
Hopefully Matt can get him the
Good
ball
kid.
deep, and that's about it. That's about
Good
it,
kid,
man.
does
Like,
nothing for me. We got David Bell to the Arizona Cardinals. Greg Dulcich, tight end from UCLA, with the new look and maybe Gronkless Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like the fit there. Jelani Woods, athletic big man out of Virginia, had a hell of a pre-draft process. Green Bay takes a shot on him at 92. And let's slide down to the fourth round of this mock. And, Rashad White to San Francisco at 105. He's the backup running back to the backup. Elijah Mitchell, maybe even Trey Sermon. Not sure. We'll see how that plays out. And let's finish out the fourth round of this mock. We get Jeremy Ruckert to the Baltimore Ravens. Seems like a good fit. Tyler Algier to the New York Giants. Jerome Ford to the Denver Broncos. Justin Ross to the New York Jets. Jake Ferguson, tight end out of Wisconsin. First time we've seen his name pop up in a mock, to Philadelphia to pair with Dallas Goedert. Caleb Ellerby, Western Michigan. Sure. Seems like a New York, Philadelphia Eagles type court. Just reminds me of Kellen, Cobb, whatever his name is, out of Houston. I don't know why, but that's what popped up. Khalil Shakir to the Buffalo Bills at 130. And then we get James Cook to Tampa Bay in the fourth round. Much more realistic, in my opinion, for James Cook than the second round to Kansas City. James Cook to Tampa Bay right here. Tyquan Thornton. I've got a homeboy that played at Baylor, and he texted me over the weekend and said, Tyquan Thornton to the Bears in round 2. Book it, per his sources.
We taking that to the sports books?
Marcus, you know who I'm talking about, too. Told me Tyquan Thornton to the Bears in round 2. Cade Otton, tight end out of Washington. It seems like he's been in college forever. Danny Gray, speedster out of SMU to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This feels like a Baltimore Ravens pick. Dameon Pierce to Florida. Just feels like a Baltimore Ravens type running back. Dameon Pierce, I like him. Charleston Rambo to the Ravens. They just continue to make bad wide receiver selections. No thank you on Charleston Rambo. And then the tight end out of Maryland, athletic tight end to Tennessee to finish out this fourth round rookie mock draft. Jay, real quick, some of your favorite. Marcus said I need to call him about that. Yeah, he knows exactly who I'm talking about, given that bad Baylor source news. But what do you think about this mock compared to old Reuter from NFL Network? What do you think about this one?
I think it's just a different take on a similar story, right? The quarterbacks didn't go as high, but they still went to the landing spots we kind of expected. And then you see the running backs, though. The running backs were the ones that they're going to home run AFC title contender spots with great quarterbacks, to the point where, we're, like you said, we're going to do a rookie draft based on this. I don't know where these players are going to go at this point. You talk about Drake London also going to Kansas City would be a top 5 draft pick. It's going to be a crazy mock. And, we'll do it pretty deep. We'll probably do another 4-round mock and see what it ends up as. But for me, man, it comes down to is like, do you believe that Breece Hall is still the 101, knowing that Kenneth Walker's in Kansas City? And which spot is the spot that we want? Because as much as we like Breece Hall, Buffalo has not been a great spot for fantasy running backs versus Kansas City, which has been a gold mine when the right guy has got there.
But to be fair, Buffalo hasn't had a back with Josh Allen. Like, to be
That's
fair,
true.
They have not had a back. Here's my thing. I'm not going to do that again, man. We did this shit 2 years ago, and if you took that and again, Kenneth Walker, a much better running back prospect than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. No doubt, we're not arguing that. But I'm not doing it again. When Breece Hall is considerably ahead of Kenneth Walker, based on my grading scale, I will not bump K9 over Breece Hall just because he goes to Kansas City. I do think this will turn out, if this were to happen, this would turn out better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire to Kansas City at pick 32. But I'm not doing it, man. It would not impact anything for me. Brees Hall would be RB1 if it played out this way with the draft capital and then landing spot secondary. It would be Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker, then Isaiah Spiller, and then after that, you saw no Zamir White in this mock. No Zamir White, double AC tells, no Zamir White. We didn't see James Cook off the board until round 4. Tyler Algier round 4. I think we saw Jerome Ford off the board in round 3. Those would be the 3 backs I want: Hall, Spiller, Walker. And for all intents and purposes, that's pretty much what it's been the entire process throughout the college football season, throughout the pre-draft process. And they come off the board in the order that I believe it will happen in the NFL draft: Hall, Walker, Spiller. It would still be Brees Hall as the top-rated running back. I'm not playing that game again with Kansas City in that landing spot, because ultimately that offense is going to flow and run through Patrick Mahomes, period, right? And 100%. I do think Brees Hall adds a dimension to that Buffalo offense, and especially they didn't have to do it in round 1. You do it towards the back of the first round. I think it was like pick 58, 57. So it's towards back of the second round, excuse me. That's good enough for me, man. I'm locking in Brees Hall as the RB1 if that happens. I'm seeing some people, they don't like this mock. I don't think there's any mock anybody will like. First round was mess, second round, third, fourth, that's what the NFL draft is. We do a draft challenge every year. If you go back, so me and my homeboy during law school, man, we would look at like Mel Kiper's mock and just see how many picks he actually gets right. It's like 8 picks out of 32 that he's getting right on an annual basis. We do a draft challenge within the Destination Devy Discord, patreon.com/allgas. It's $25 entry fee. We've got over 800 patrons in there. So if we get half of them to drop $25 in there, we pay out first, second, and third. Whoever gets the most players to landing spots correct gets a big payout. We do a big draft challenge. We're setting that up now. I'll tell you, it's a lot harder. Like, these mocks are good because they're indicative of what's going to happen. All over the goddamn place. All over the place. Nothing is chalky, and especially in a year where there is no Trevor Lawrence, there is no Justin Fields, there's no Trey Lance or Zach Wilson. I mean, even in this one, we saw the first player off the board wasn't Evan Neal, wasn't Aiden Hutchinson, wasn't Kayvon Thibodeau. It was Walker, the edge out of Georgia. Like, I don't think there's consensus anywhere, and that's what makes this draft so intriguing than some of the drafts in recent memory. So we'll see what's popping. We will do a rookie mock based on these landing spots in draft capital on Thursday, not Friday, on Thursday. Tomorrow's show, Jay, what are we doing? Top 10 wide receivers? Top 10 dynasty wideouts in the NFL?
Top 10 dynasty wideouts. Don't forget the super chat, though. We got to get to that, too.
Oh, yeah.
Before we head out of here.
Super chat. What we got? Super chat. Oh, here we go. All right. Hey, Ray, asked this Thursday, but you might have missed it. I've got the 101, 107, 108 this year, and 2023 first, but no 2024 first. Do I look to move seconds for 2024? And I'm going to assume like 2024 first. Yeah. If you got 101, 107, 108, and then a shit ton of picks in 2023, but no first in 2024, if you can move second rounders this year to get first rounders in 2024, don't ask any super chat questions. Go send that or press accept immediately. Go get those 2024 first. You got Quinn Ewers. You got Trevion Henderson. You got Xavier Worthy. You got Brock Bowers. You got LJ Johnson, Donovan Edwards, JJ McCarthy, potentially Kyle McCord if he gets his shit together. Yes, go get the 2024 first round picks, especially if all you're trading are second rounders in 2022. Please do that in a heartbeat, and then come back and tell me how many first rounders in 2024 you have. So we've got a great slate of content lined up for you this week. We will keep you entertained all the way through the draft process. Despite there being chaos, we are here to keep you level-headed. If you enjoyed the show, appreciate the content, hit the thumbs up button, like. It's good for the algorithm. Comment on the YouTube comments, please. I appreciate everybody for being here this morning. We will be back tomorrow to talk top 10 dynasty wide receivers. Use the promo code WAKEUP on Prize Picks. NBA playoffs are kicking off. Jay and I are going to start to provide some picks on the channel that should be going. Jay, we're going to start running those right around the playoffs, right? We're going to start running those little 5-10 minute pieces.
Probably whether it's the playing games or actually the first round, but I'm excited, man. You know, the minutes right now in the NBA are just a cluster. So I'm ready for some consistency, and some good matchups. The NBA's been on fire lately, so I'm excited.
I'm ready to pull that Lakers jacket back out. We're back in the play-in game, baby. Lakers gonna win the championship.
Not yet, you're not.
Well, we're gonna get there. We lost to the. We're gonna get there, man. I still got belief in my Lakers. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Nah, man, nah.
Right,
what I would
good.
say though is go in the comments and give me your top 12. That's what I want. I want everyone who saw the mock draft. Go in the comments. Yeah. Give us your top 12 on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast feed, go on YouTube, comment your top 12, 1 to 12. We'll do Superflex 1 QB. Let us know the format, but we want to see what it is because then we can go back and look at those and then compare on Thursday. So give us your top 12 in the comments down below.
If you want your top 12 to be featured on the show, go put it in the comments and just signify single quarterback, super flex, based on the mock that we just did. So based on the landing spots, based on the draft capital, give us your top 12. Give us your top 12, and we'll compare what the experts did versus the good people of Wake Up. So that's a good job, Jay. You are making me proud this morning. You got you a super chat. $5 this morning. You got a good day's work for you, Jay Rich. But we appreciate y'all tapping in. We'll be back tomorrow. Y'all make this week, make today great. Draft month, baby. Get excited. We'll be back tomorrow. We out. Peace.